Beneath the infinite, incomprehensible expanse of the cosmos, where galaxies spilled like luminescent ink across the canvas of eternity, and the void itself seemed to hum with the memory of dead stars and long-forgotten civilizations, the eternal dawn tore through hyperspace with the violence and precision of a celestial predator, its immense hull gleaming with polished alloy that caught the distant light of collapsing suns and refracted it into sharp, slicing rays across nearby asteroid belts, which trembled as if in anticipation of doom. Every plate, every engraving of Imperial insignia, every subtly pulsating energy conduit along its spine spoke of the arrogance and pride of an empire that had ruled unchallenged for centuries. An empire built on conquest, fear, and the careful cultivation of obedience. Yet as the vessel emerged from the final distortion of hyperspace, a ripple of unease spread silently through its decks, unnoticed by most but palpable to the Grand Admiral who stood upon the bridge like a statue of authority, his eyes cold mirrors reflecting the soft blue glow of countless holographic tactical displays, his jaw set in perfect control. And yet, somewhere deep within the calculated matrix of his experience, a whisper of something unaccountable stirred, a tiny anomaly that, if dismissed, might shatter the empire itself. For there, in the midst of the asteroid field that had once seemed desolate and empty, drifted a human vessel, small, blocky, unarmed by Imperial standards, yet radiating a calm certainty that defied both measurement and expectation. A simple, functional ship orbiting with the quiet audacity of one who knew it could not be threatened. And when the human comm system activated, the first words carried the casual, irreverent tones of someone entirely unconcerned with the Empire's reputation. "Hey there, shiny boys! You lost, or just compensating for something with that ship?" Immediately filling the bridge of the Eternal Dawn with a mix of astonishment, disbelief, and suppressed laughter. And as Vale's eyes narrowed, his mind racing through centuries of military doctrine, threat assessments, and potential tactical responses, the human captain continued with cheerful commentary, noting the vintage Mark VII plasma array and offering gentle observations about the museum-quality design of Imperial cannons, eliciting more muffled laughter from the crew of the Eternal Dawn, who were simultaneously trained to maintain discipline and confronted by the impossible reality that their mightiest weapons were being casually evaluated and mocked, while the ship's sensors, designed to penetrate the subtlest forms of stealth and deception, returned inconsistent, paradoxical readings that suggested impossible technology. Quantum shielding layers folded in on themselves, compressed singularity drives humming silently beneath mining modules, entire rooms folding into pocket dimensions, temporal loops running quietly in waste disposal units, engines powered by laughter and improbable thought, and dragons. Yes, dragons existing in 7 dimensions simultaneously, curled lazily in compartments that were simultaneously infinitesimal and vast, and the Eternal Dawn's most feared weapon, the Star Splitter, charged to full power with energy drawn from 3 suns, only to have its beam rendered harmless by the human shields, deflected like water against glass, while the crew of the Olympus casually continued mining, sipping coffee, taking bets on how long it would take the Imperials to realize they were attacking nothing, recording the spectacle for posterity, and adding whimsical annotations with music and cartoon sound effects. And as the Star Splitter failed, the Imperial officers' panic escalated exponentially, the command bridge vibrating with tension, alarms screaming, consoles flickering under impossible feedback, while Vale himself, who had never felt doubt in his life, realized that not only had their weapons failed, but the humans were actively siphoning power from every attempted scan, converting destructive energy into mundane comforts, coffee, improved lighting, better video resolution, turning the Empire's greatest weapons into tools for trivial, delightful, domestic pleasure. And as the humans continued to speak, to laugh, to joke about the absurdity of Imperial threats, the fleet around the Eternal Dawn seemed to sag in the void, unsure of purpose, unsure of power, while reports from the Imperial High Command flooded in, each more bewildering than the last, indicating that humanity had observed, catalogued, and gently mocked Imperial practices for centuries, that every first attempt at star cruisers, every blunder, every historic military exercise had been archived, shared, and commented upon with the subtle humor of a species far beyond the Empire's comprehension. And when the Imperial diplomats arrived on a neutral station for explanation, expecting fear, submission, or reverence, they were confronted by Ambassador Tom Wilson, a retired history teacher with a casual grin, recounting centuries of humanity's careful observation, their quiet amusement at Imperial practices, their development of faster-than-light travel millennia before first contact, and the revelation that humans had spent generations curating an empire-sized aquarium of civilizations for study, amusement, and occasional correction, showing that the Empire had never discovered humanity, but had been entertaining them in the grandest scale imaginable, while simultaneously sharing technology that could give consciousness to gas giants, tame cosmic horrors, manipulate probability, fold space into infinite storage, and brew perfect coffee with energy drawn from star splitters themselves. And, as the humans explained, all of this had been done with casual grace, laughter and kindness, turning conquest into games, destruction into entertainment, and fear into curiosity, rewriting not only the Empire's understanding of the galaxy, but the very nature of power, reality, and authority, so that former weapons became tools for education, fleets became carriers of culture, entire planets became sentient allies and puzzle-solving entities, while the Imperial officers, previously embodiments of discipline and fear, learned to laugh at themselves, to taste cookies baked in pocket dimensions, to marvel at dragons playing fetch across 7 dimensions, to navigate ships powered by happiness and humor. And Vale himself, retired, eventually sat in a garden under alien suns, sipping coffee brewed with the same technology he had once sought to destroy, watching children play across the yard with creatures that defied every law of physics, realizing that the universe had never needed conquerors, that laughter, curiosity, and kindness were the truest forms of strength, and that humans, through the simple combination of intelligence, observation, joy, and impeccable timing, had not only survived the galaxy, but had reshaped it entirely, turning former empires into allies, enemies into students, and even the stars themselves into witnesses and participants in the greatest cosmic joke ever played, all while humanity sipped coffee, brewed ice cream, and quietly, casually redefined what it meant to hold power over the universe, showing that the ultimate mastery of existence lay not in fear, domination, or brute force, but in understanding, creativity, and the ability to smile at the absurdity of it all.